The weather is finally getting warmer in Arizona, which makes it the perfect time of year to go out and go hiking.
And we figured it was time that we go check out the Saguaro National Park in Tucson, specifically the King Canyon Trail, on the way to the summit of Wasson Peak.
We completed this trail on Leap Day, February 29th, 2020. Everything was just starting to bloom, creating a very picturesque hike. If completed as an out and back, according to All Trails, the trail is 7.1 miles with an elevation gain of 1,840 feet.
But if you take the alternate route back down from Wasson Peak on the Hugh Norris Trail, the distance will be closer to 8 miles.
Even with this extra distance, the trail shouldn't take any longer than 5 hours.
And that is at a mild pace. I'm sure many of you could do it much faster.
One of the trickiest parts of this trail is finding a place to park your car. The trailhead's parking lot is unpaved and only large enough to accommodate a handful of vehicles.
We weren't able to find a parking spot in the trail's lot, so we tried parking across the street in the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum's very large, very empty parking lot. But then security on a golf cart yelled at us, and we instead had to wait for parking in the trail's lot.
We did eventually find parking though, and we were on our way. Right off the bat, we actually got off King Canyon Trail for a bit and took the adjacent wash for about a mile before getting back on King Canyon Trail. There are a lot of bees in the wash though, so be careful.
After getting back on King Canyon Trail, you will begin to steadily gain elevation. The trail also gets pretty rocky, but there's no rock scrambling.
Hike for another mile before reaching a fork in the trail. Continue northwest on King Canyon Trail. If you go east, you'll actually be getting on Sweetwater Trail.
This part of the trail is where most of the elevation gain takes place, and it actually gets pretty tough at some points. Don't forget to drink a lot of water and take breaks to enjoy the views.
Especially if you're doing this in the warmer months. As you continue uphill, Wasson Peak will come into view.
When you're about a half a mile from the summit, look out for the abandoned mine shaft. There isn't any danger of falling in, it's fenced off and just off the trail.
Right after you pass the mine shaft, you'll see Hugh Norris Trail on your left. This is the trail we decided to take on our way back.
Thankfully, the trail flattens out at this point. Walk the ridgeline towards the peak.
The trail narrows and there is almost a sheer drop on one side of the path for about 50 yards, so those with fear of height should keep this in mind.
Right below the peak, you'll find the register book. After signing, continue up to the summit, only a few yards away.
After taking in the breathtaking views, head back down the way you came. When you reach the Hugh Norris Trail, you can take this down or continue down King Canyon Trail back the way you came.
We opted for a change in scenery and took the Hugh Norris Trail. After many steep switchbacks, the trail will flatten out. Continue steadily downward for 2 miles until you see the fork for Sendero Esperanza Trail. Take Sendero Esperanza southward at this intersection.
There are many routes back to the parking lot, so plan ahead which one you're going to take. We took Sendero Esperanza 1 mile to Gold Mine Trail. There is another abandoned mine near the turnoff for Gold Mine. You might smell the mine before you see it. The area smells strongly of sulfur. If you look closely around the mine, you might find small pieces of pyrite or fool's gold.
Follow the trail for 1 more mile until you reach Kings Canyon Trailhead and the parking lot.
So All Trails rates this hike as moderate.
All Trails' rating of moderate is very broad. Seven Falls, a well-known trail in Tucson, is also rated as moderate. However, I wouldn't say that this trail is comparable. I would agree that the majority of this trail is moderate, especially the entire hike down from the summit, but there are many parts of this trail that are nearing the hard classification.
Overall, this is one of the most scenic trails we've done in Tucson, with the blooming flowers and the panoramic view from the top of Wasson Peak.
If you're a hiker with one day in Tucson during the winter and spring, I would recommend trying out this trail. However, this is not the trail to try if it's the summer or you're just starting out hiking.
Thank you everyone for watching. If you've hiked Wasson Peak, let us know your thoughts. Do you agree with All Trails' rating?
Also, feel free to share your experience hiking the trail below.